August 20th, 2026. Our first item on our agenda this evening is a Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Please remain standing for silence for a long time. Educator of Las Vegas Free Schools who just passed away recently, Mr. Theo Hill.
Next item is roll call. Roll call, please.
Board Member Dennis Romero.
Present.
Board Member Mrs. Elaine Martinez Gonzalez. Present. Board Secretary Dr. Joyce Mazur. Present. Board Vice President Dr. Kimberly Blair. Present. Board President Paul Gonzalez.
Present. We have a quorum. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's regular board meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
A motion by Dr. Beck. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Dr. Reserve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion to approve the agenda passes. Thank you. Next item is approval of the minutes. We'll do them separate. So first is I'll entertain a motion to approve the July 15th regular board meeting minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Reserve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say no. Motion passes. Next is approval of the August 5th, 2026 special board meeting minutes. I'll make a motion that we approve the August 5th special board meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Reserve. All in favor, say aye. Discussion? Yes, Mr. Romero.
I'd like to make a motion that we table the minutes for August the 5th. Ms. Martinez Gonzalez made a statement at that meeting and it was not entered into the minutes.
As a reminder, Mr. Romero, not everything has to be direct word for word. Right now, I do have a motion already on the table to approve. I have a second. So we'll go ahead and vote.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes, Ms. Gonzalez.
I did ask that that be noted in the minutes as far as not being notified of the special board meeting. So I would like that added to the minutes. So I would like to see if those minutes can be tabled until they're corrected.
Once again, we have a motion on the board and it's been seconded, so we will vote. Go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Board Member Dennis Romero.
No.
Board Member Mrs. Elaine Martinez Gonzalez.
No.
Board Secretary Dr. Joyce Mazur.
Yes.
Board Vice President Dr. Kimberly Blair.
Abstain as I was not present at this meeting.
Board President Paul Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
I'd
Romero.
like to make a motion now that we table the meetings from August 5th since that did not pass until that gets entered into the minutes.
Well, it didn't fail either, so, what do you want to table?
There was no record of any of her comments at all. I mean, I know you said that not everything has to be word for word, but there was nothing of anything stated. And I believe that's a violation of the Meetings Act if it's not being public.
Yes, Ms. Dr. Reserve.
Mr. Romero, what difference would that make?
It's part of the public record. It's recorded, it was recorded, so now it's going to be in writing.
But what difference would that make in reference to doing good for the school?
It has nothing to do with the school. It has
That's
to do
what
with
we're here
the Open Meeting Act.
That's why we're here.
The reason I made the statement is because we're not being informed of the meetings, and I believe that we should be afforded the same courtesy as all board members, as we are board members. There's a group of 5 and not just 3. So I made the statement. I would like it recorded.
Mr. President Gonzalez, again, I made a comment at that meeting as well, indicating that I was also not notified, so you're not having for me to reference to not being uniform. So again, what does that have to do with improving the school system for the children?
It has everything to do with the meeting itself.
Open Meetings Act.
Yes.
Okay, so, thank you, Dr. Lea. So, if there is a tie, the motion does fail. So now, Mr. Romero has a motion on the table to table the minutes for August 5th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the table, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
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 All abstained?
So, it fails. I will make a motion to pass the August 5th special board meeting minutes. Do I have a second to not pass them?
Mr. Gonzalez, you said it failed, it actually didn't fail.
Because the tie is a fail, like I said the first time. So I'm going to say that we don't pass it, and then it can be updated later. So there's a motion to not pass. Is there a second to not pass it?
Second.
Second by Dr. Reserve. All in favor to not pass the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, August 5th, the special board meeting minutes are not passed. Next item on our agenda this evening is public input. We have no public input. Next item on our agenda is our finance report. Dr. Ware.
Thank you, President Gonzalez, members of the board. The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, August 18th. The June 2026 financial reports for the general and student activity accounts were reviewed as follows, including operating and activity-based reports, accounts payable, checklisting, revenue and expenditure reports, purchase orders that were issued, payroll journal report, fund balance report, pledge final report, and the GoFan activity. There is a recommendation from the Finance Committee that all of the bars listed in the finance packet be approved. In addition, there was a recommendation to review and improve the monthly financial reports 1 month later to allow for additional review from the finance director and from the board as well. And so the recommendation of the committee was to approve this. Thank you.
Upon my recommendation from the committee, I'm going to make a motion. Actually, Madam Superintendent, what would be your recommendation on consent items A through D?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I recommend approval of consent agenda items A through D as presented.
On that recommendation, I'll make the motion that we approve consent items A through D. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Lea.
Mr. Gonzalez? Was there a reason why we didn't do July's at the same time? Just 2 minutes? I know that we had April, June, because we didn't have, you guys had a meeting, but was there a reason why we didn't do July at the same time?
Yes, there is.
Yes, Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Romero, we had a lengthy discussion during the Finance Committee meeting regarding this. And essentially what happens is whenever the month end closes, it requires extensive amount of extra time and work for the finance department team to make sure that everything is reconciled and prepared in advance for the board meeting. And so what I brought to the conversation as well is that I felt it's more appropriate for us to have a 1 month delay in our review and approvals of the financial reports from the month before for the sake of ensuring that there are no errors because they're rushing to reconcile to prepare for the board packet. So we didn't review July's information, we only reviewed the information for June.
And this will also provide our finance department to get the entire board the information, hopefully 5 or 6 days sooner, so every board member has enough time to thoroughly review and send any questions to the finance committee that they're needed.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
is this in policy where that it can be submitted a month later? Is it in policy as far as the finance committee?
There is, Mr. Chair, there is no reason why it could not be done. So it is not a policy to say that it cannot be done.
Just a recommendation about our finance director and the finance committee. So I have a motion and a second to approve consent items A through D. Roll call, please.
Board Member Dennis Romero,
No.
Board Member Mrs. Elaine Martinez Gonzalez,
No.
Board Secretary Dr. Joyce Meserve,
Yes.
Board Vice President Dr. Kimberly Blaya,
Yes.
Board President Paul Gonzalez.
Yes, motion to approve consent items A through D passes. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is presentation, item A. Recognition of service and plaque presentation to Mr. Tomas Trujillo. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, community members, staff members, it is my great pleasure to recognize Mr. Tomas Trujillo for his recent retirement. Mr. Trujillo retired with 29 years of service in education. They had a great opportunity for the last 2 years to work with him. He is greatly missed, and he provided a lot to the district. It is his time to shine tonight, and we're glad he and his family are here with us. So, Mr. Trujillo, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
I'd just like to quickly add this. I know Lord Randy has an average and impact on countless of students. Just want to generally thank you about my heart to say thank you for everyone about our community, our schools, and our citizens. Thank you very much.
Board members, if you would like to come up and acknowledge and congratulate.
First of all,
Good evening, everyone. Superintendents on the bottom, President Gonzalez, members of the board, colleagues, family, friends. First and foremost, thank you for this recognition tonight. I am truly humbled and grateful. It's difficult to put nearly 30 years of experience, relationships, challenges, victories, and memories into just a few minutes. I'll do my best so that the other administrators in the room can go home after a long day at the office. If you know, you know. My journey has allowed me to serve students and families in the West Las Vegas schools, Pecos Independent Schools, and most importantly, the Las Vegas City School District. I've been fortunate to serve in many different roles along the way. I was a social worker, a counselor, a teacher of psychology, dean of students, vice principal, principal, and special education director. Every one of those positions taught me something different, but throughout all of them, one thing remained constant. The work has always been about the students. It has always been about supporting young people, helping them believe in themselves, helping them become whole, and giving them every opportunity possible to be successful. I have always believed that education is much more than grades, test scores, attendance percentages, and graduation rates. Those things matter. But what matters most, even more, is knowing that our students, knowing their families, and knowing their stories. Knowing when a student needs encouragement, when they need accountability, when they need someone to advocate for them. And sometimes simply knowing when they need an adult to tell them, I believe in you. That is the work I've tried to do throughout my career. Leadership has also taught me that doing what is right is not always the easiest path. There will always be personal agendas. There will always be political factions. There will always be people who believe leadership means choosing sides, but I have tried very hard not to do that. I'm proud that throughout my career, I have worked to make decisions based on what I believe was best for students, staff, and the institution I was entrusted to serve, regardless of who received the credit and regardless of who might have disagreed. I want to personally thank our current superintendent, Ms. Melissa Sandoval. Ms. Sandoval, I'm extremely proud of what our leadership team has accomplished in the short time that you've held your position with Las Vegas City Schools. Leadership at this level is not easy. There are difficult decisions, long hours, criticism, pressure, and expectations that most people never see. I also want to recognize and thank Ms. Denise Peterson. Denise stepped into an incredibly demanding role, learning the responsibilities of an administrative assistant as well as the complexities of human resources. Denise, I know it's not always been easy, but you've approached that with responsibility, perseverance, and heart. I've watched her learn, grow, work through difficult moments, and continue showing up. So Denise, thank you for everything you have done and for everything you have done to support me personally and professionally. Lastly, I am extremely grateful to the administrative team that I served with the last 7 years, the educators, administrators, staff members, families, and community members who trusted me, challenged me, supported me, laughed with me, disagreed with me, and ultimately helped me make a better educator and a better leader. So when I think about my years in education, I will remember the people, the relationships, the friendships, the camaraderie, the laughter. I'll even remember when some of the difficult moments appear because those moments taught me, strengthened me, and reminded me why relationships matter so much. Most of all, I will remember the students. I'm enormously grateful for the opportunities I have been given throughout my career, and I'm especially grateful for the opportunity to have served the students and families of Robertson High School and Las Vegas City Schools. Thank you to this board for recognizing me tonight. Thank you to Ms. Sandoval and my colleagues. And thank you to my spouse and best friend, Tom Gonzalez, my son, Matthew, and my family, and friends who are here this evening. They've supported me throughout my journey, and I wouldn't be standing here tonight without their tolerance, patience, love, and support. Now I can't see. And above all, thank you everyone who somewhere along the way stood beside me and helped our students rise as Cardinals. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda under presentation is item B, Las Vegas Maintain Farm, Agustin Montoya, Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, again, I am honored to have the Las Vegas, Mr. Lee and Mr. Montoya here to talk a little bit about the program that we have residing at the 947 campus of our Old Memorial Middle School. They're going to present a little bit of information to you all about what the program is about and what it is that they do. Good to see you, Mr. Moody.
Thank you. Members of the board, Madam Superintendent, I'm Mayor Judy again. I've been before this board once. I don't recognize everybody completely. Maybe they were considered board members, but I've been to two boards before in the past 7 years, promoting and asking for extensions and thanking board members for their participation in the success of the Las Vegas Demonstration and Training Farm. I asked Agustin for the floor momentarily before he did, and he's got a great presentation. But I wanted to, again, thank the board, past and present, and as well as the superintendents, past and present. And thank and request from the board, present and future, for continued help with the Las Vegas Demonstration and Training Farm and New Mexico State University's participation in it. You've been very thankful for the participation of the board, and we're ready to show everyone the success of the farm that we have at the Memorial Middle School. I want to personally invite everyone here to our field day this coming Saturday from 9 o'clock to 11. And it's going to be held to acknowledge and thank everyone who has participated and had a hand in the success of this fantastic little farm that is doing very, very well, especially this year considering the constraints that we've had with the water situation, etc. So please join us if you would. You will have the opportunity to take part in some of the fresh vegetables that we are growing at the farm. We have saved the harvest entirely for guests on Saturday, so we hope we can make it. Now, I've had a history with this farm going all the way back to the early 2000s when I, under the direction of RC&D, leveled the 7 acres that are now part of the farm and established 3 fields for soccer fields, one soccer field for play and the other for practice. And what has happened since then is that one field was established along with bleachers, scoreboards, and night lighting, and I don't think it was ever used. This was all under the tenure of Superintendent Tom Bruce back in his days. And now that I mention his name, he is also responsible for the funding, legislative fundings, that we are now working with on that farm. So I'm hoping that he will be there on Saturday. And in that respect, 7 years ago when I was asked to create the infrastructure for this farm, I went in, first of all, I was requested by Dr. Michael Patrick to clear 2 acres of land, given an aerial photograph in which to do it. And we went and cleared those 2 acres of approximately 80 cubic yards of debris that had accumulated there over the years, since it had been abandoned as a soccer field. I would like for all you members that show up there to make sure, acknowledge that you're there and get a hold of me so that I can share particular interests that I have in the future of that land, which happens to be excellent agricultural land that needs a proper steward. I'm hoping that in the future they extend the memorandum of agreements with New Mexico State University so that it can finally receive the proper stewardship that it should have as a prime agricultural land. I have an opinion that is not worth sharing here, but if you all would like to know it, my name is Leonard Luby. My email is lrludi@yahoo.com. Let's have a conversation. My telephone number is 505-429-3211. I say that because this will be my last year. I just can't keep this up anymore, and we've got new blood in the presence of Mr. Agustin Montoya. I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, Leonard, and thank you, board members, for allowing us to come in and spend some time with you, just to fiddle with your mind and hopefully not knock it over. So I am the project coordinator for the Las Vegas Demonstration and Training Farm. So a lot of my job is to make sure that I'm acting as a community liaison. I am going to be interfacing between the university, the community, and our actual on-the-ground farm help. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this presentation. There's not going to be a whole lot about the history of the farm, just due to the fact that there's going to be some things we're going over on our field day this coming Saturday, and I wouldn't want to waste your guys' time. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. We were established in 2020 with funding from New Mexico State University, the County Extension Service, as well as, I believe, the Arrowhead Foundation, and specifically state funding that was legislatively secured, like Leonard had mentioned, by Senator Pete Campos. So what do we do over there? With humble beginnings at the start of the decade, the LVDNC Farm serves as a pilot program with the intention of increasing food security and engaging local agribusiness in northeastern New Mexico. So all of us come from a community where agriculture is central to our society, right? I mean, almost all of us have families that either own acequias or own land adjacent to it and have water rights, or all of us have been involved in these this kind of community historically. I don't think it's a secret to anyone here in this room that that's not necessarily something that's happening anymore. Young people aren't really as interested in continuing this agricultural history that we have. And amongst people who are passionate about this, we are very, very aware of the fact that if we not retain this knowledge, facilitate it, and encourage it, we will lose it. I mean, it only took myself as a personal example, one generation of my family's time for us to completely forget how to steward cattle. And how to steward, we lost all of our family land, right? And it was just not really part of it. So this is kind of, we want to focus on acting as an insulator and a pilot program. That was the initial intention when Senator Campos came to Leonard and came to Dr. Michael Patrick. It was, how can we not only facilitate a space to teach these things and shelter this knowledge, but how can we then take that seed and grow it into a space to really expand on that. So, 2020-21, the project began at the start of the pandemic, and obviously there were no participants allowed to join us. So Leonard Mooney and his wonderful wife Mary had laid a lot of that foundation nearly single-handedly. That was running irrigation lines, that was accessing direct water from the greenhouse and running it all along through that empty field that's adjacent to our property on the other side of the bleachers and the former middle school. That included setting up water tanks, fencing, beginning the preliminary plannings. When you're navigating a space like this, it's a lot of work. You have to understand where the sun is falling, as simple as it might sound. Those are things that take a lot of time, and Leonard is the guy to do it. I mean, he's been involved in this work historically. If you've ever had a Española improved green chili, he was a part of developing that, right, with MSU. So it was arguably one of the best people to step into this role. 2021 and 22, first and second year with a proper program. The first year featuring 12 participants and 18 participants in the second. There was also the use and establishment of a hoop house, which is a covered structure that allows us to not only plant things under protection of the intense New Mexico summer that provides protection from hail, and it's also one of the most effective ways to grow crops through the winter season. And that's important because that is one of the most pivotal. I mean, we all know what tough our winters are, right? If we have farmers and local agriculture with the capability and the knowledge to take that principle and apply it broadly, I mean, we have an agricultural community that's able to grow produce during the winter and stay in business. Through 2023 and 2024, there were some staffing concerns. I'm sure it's also no secret to anyone who's ever hired anybody. It's really hard to find good help, and it's hard to find consistent help. So that kind of limited some of the expansion of the program, but regardless, we continued. There's an educational curriculum that we also employed. This year, given it was a transitional year, we are recovering from some of that staffing issues. We haven't really been as dedicated to that, but it's something that we're going to continue expanding on, and that includes not only site planning, it also includes value-added produce and value-added agricultural products, so things like canning, things like baked goods, anything that's taking your base agricultural product, adding value to it through labor, value-added products. So that we would have canning demonstrations. We also had demonstrations on small-scale compost, using drip irrigation effectively. So moving on to the 2025 and 2026 season, I stepped on as a volunteer in the 2025 season, and I would argue that, as far as I'm aware, that was our largest participant engagement. I believe we had close to 30 participants. It was around 28 or 29 consistent participants for a total of 30, which is an incredible record. I mean, getting that many volunteers in one space in a place like this where it's difficult to maintain consistency is something that we're incredibly proud of. So now that we're recovering from staffing constraints in the 2026 season, kind of hosted a full return to communal row cropping, as well as personal participant beds. So every participant gets a 32 square foot bed, and we walk them through the process of planning, preparing, and creating a watering system for that. But on our row crops, we also allow participants to engage in more communal-based farming. So one of the things that we like to say over there is if you lay a hand on a communal bed or you lay a finger on a communal row crop, you are entitled to some of your harvest. So that's kind of how we run it there. It really incentivizes people to take part and to hold each other accountable and hold themselves accountable. It's a really, really lovely structure, and I think over this last year we really found ways to refine it. So some other exciting things that we've done this year is, despite only having 10 participants, we've had incredible cross-institutional collaboration. I've made my personal mission to really, really expand on this project. So I'm getting us connected with the NMHU Forestry Department. I've already got the Master Gardeners program involved, and those guys are also interdepartmental, so they're with NMSU, but they are a group of Master Gardeners. It's like an entire curriculum based for the County Extension Service, and it's their job to understand how things function here, have a really, really good base of knowledge as to like the specific issues that come up in any given area. So it's really, really incredible to have them there. They're an awesome base of knowledge, and we're really, really honored. We're also just working with expanding more within the county extension services in general. So we want to get more 4-Hers out there. We want to get more kids in general out there. I mean, if there's moving into the future, we want to expand those professional and institutional relationships especially. We firmly believe that the stronger those connections are, the stronger those relationships are, the stronger our food network is, right? We all know that we live in a food desert, and I mean, as a young person who's grown up in that environment, I have, not only did I grow up here, but I have a niece who's growing up here and who I hope stays in Vegas and is able to pour in all of her intelligence and dedication and all of the wonderful things about our youth, but if we don't have food and we don't have water, we don't really have much of a community. So we're really, really dedicated to strengthening those ties into the 2027 season. So this is just a slide. I had to toss a picture of Leonard in there just to surprise him with it. There he is on our first year participating there on the left. Those were some of our early communal crops, and just behind him you can see some row croppings that we were also doing. At that point in time, we weren't really dealing with quite a significant drought as we are now. So at the time we were handling drip irrigation with beds and flood irrigation in the fields, and now we have officially moved to drip irrigation entirely. And I am also personally developing a plan iterating on more water-wise planting methods such as oil pots, clay pipe burials, things that are incredibly efficient and incredibly effective for a place like this. So, some other current exciting projects that we have going on and expanding on some of the connections we have within other institutions in town. We have a second-year We Love Coach project with Dr. Eric Romero of NMHU. We Love Coach is also known as corn smut, and it's essentially fungus that grows on corn. It's incredibly valuable. I mean, it sells for roughly $20 a pound, and that's in places where it's readily available, right? So it's a crop that typically forms in Mexico and South America, and it's kind of considered a scorch there, but there's a huge demand in the ordinate market, and so their project is working on developing a system in order to successfully inoculate and harvest We Love Coach, and then provide that information to other farmers in the area who would then be able to have this incredibly rich and incredibly valuable crop. We are also, of course, like I said, very proud of our first year coordination with the Master Gardeners program. We've had them come in and provide direct instruction as well as provide significant repairs to our hoop house, which is very exciting as well. We're in the first year of planning with the Department of Forestry, and we were hoping to get their Humans and Ecosystems class out there for this, not this semester, but the next semester, so coming up in the spring. Yeah, we're really excited for that. We also have a Tepiary bean trial with Dr. Richard Pratt at NMSU. Tepiary beans are a dryland bean from the Chihuahua area desert, and what they are is like an incredibly valuable bean. We all know that beans and peas improve your soil quality, but Tepiary beans specifically inoculated with certain kinds of bacteria that are not really found anywhere else. And so if we could find a way to inoculate our soil with this, I mean, it's really, really exciting. You guys can pick my brain about that later. I don't want to forget myself. So yeah, as we move into the future, we're also going to be exploring community-supported agriculture programs, and those are essentially a buy-in program. Right now we're in discussion as to what the most effective way to employ this would be, but if we can have more participant engagement, we can expand the program, and with that we're hoping to actually, community-supported agriculture essentially is a process where people will buy in on any specific period of time, whether it's a season, whether it's monthly or weekly, and they typically pay a discounted price for large quantities of fresh, organic, healthy produce. So that's our core mission at the end of the day. I mean, it's kind of the long game is that we're really trying to educate people and actually provide like some structure and provide a hub. We want to connect burgeoning agriculturalists with other people in our community. We want this increased engagement to help us provide those high crops. Ultimately, our sole mission is making sure more people in the Tri-County area have accessibility to safe and healthy food. We are not wanting any of us to be reliant on, whatever the bruised, damaged produce that Walmart decides to ship out to this part of the States is. So yeah, we're committed, and we're hoping to just continue expanding on that. Now, before I get into the last slide, do we have any questions? Is there anything that you guys might be interested, or is there anything that we might be able to answer? Feel free to marinate on it. There'll be more times to pick our brain. Alrighty, so most importantly, the goal of this whole meeting and this presentation is just to say thank you so much to the board, past and present. I mean, especially present, you guys have been so amenable and warm every time I've had to interact with somebody from LBCS to try and get this off of the ground. You guys have been so incredible. We also really appreciate the use of and the opportunity to steward really an incredible space. I don't think there's anywhere else that, like I said, Leonard has his opinions. He'll be more adept at explaining why it's such a wonderful spot and why we're so grateful to really be utilizing it. So with that being said, we hope to see you on our day at the farm. It's going to be hosted this Saturday, August 22nd. We will be showing up around 8 a.m. if you guys want to just poke around before we begin our speaking. But our speaking portion is going to start at 9. We'll also have refreshments. So to finish on my corny little joke, let's enjoy the fruits and veggies of our shared successes. And thank you guys again so much.
Thank you. Mr. Majoy for your presentation, and Mr. Looney, thank you for all the work you've done at our municipal site. Again, I know it's been a great partnership with yourself, New Mexico State, so thank you very much for all the work that you've done.
Thank you all, and I hope the participation with LBCS continues for many years, because there's a great future for that excellent piece of agricultural ground that you all own. Let's take care of it.
Thank you, Mr. Looney.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is old business discussion action. Item 80 first is X Energy Lighting Solar Project Update and Revision. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members, I would invite Mr. Joe Brown an update on our lighting and solar project and what is planned for the next few months.
Thank you. President Gonzalez and members of the board, we appreciate the opportunity to come back and give an update on the lighting and solar project. There's a comment made by Mr. Trujillo. He said it takes a lot for the school. And boy, if that isn't true. And one of the aspects that we enjoy is trying to improve the learning environment of the school. And I'm Joe and Mrs. Brad, and we're going to kind of tag team this a little bit. I'll talk about the lighting. Is that a little better? You still know? Well, you got a full agenda tonight. So, anyway, thank you for letting us come in and do an update on our project. Does it ever take a lot to run a school? And hats off to all of you for the role that you play. Our goal at this particular time was to come in, and we had two objectives with the lighting project. One is to cut your cost. So if we'll flip to the first slide right here, we'll flip through these real quick, one more. And okay, so
our objective was to upgrade to LED lighting. And one of the things we noticed is that you had, it's called T12s in school, which is a 40-watt lamp. Most schools have 32-watt T8s. And with fluorescent lighting, you can go and look at study after study about what that does to the learning environment when you upgrade to LED. I'd like to report that the job was successful. We upgraded to LED, but more importantly, we were able to save the district well over $150,000, and it's upward of that, to give a real short, simple payback for the lighting project. But again, I'd encourage you to look at what that means to your learning environment and to your students, because a fluorescent lamp, whether you can see it or not, a fluorescent lamp will pulsate. It's constantly pulsating when an LED light is constant light. So you're going to see a drastic improvement in the learning environment. I mean, I'll let you test that out for yourselves as to what that really means for the students. But I also want to say hats off to your maintenance crew. They had a tall task during the summer, moving furniture around, polishing the floors, getting the school ready for school to start. That was a big task, and they were accommodating, still accommodating to us. It helped us get in, get out. Project still ran over, but that wasn't their fault by any means. So again, I want to say hats off to the maintenance crew. All right, just going through this, you can't see it real good, but let me just go through. Removed and replaced over 7,500 lamps. That's a lot of lamps. We consolidated color temperatures and rendering, and let me just point out that with the new lighting technology, you're able to adjust the color temperature, brighter, dimmer, and so when we first got into a couple of classrooms, everybody kind of backed up and says, wait, time out, it's a little bit too bright. So we were able to go back in and tone it down a little bit, but we've seen over time that they may want to bump it back up and get a little bit brighter as they get used to LED. Now, that's kind of a good thing that they came up with that technology, because we've been in situations where teachers will come in and they will de-lamp themselves, but they'll put a shade over the lamp. But now, we've got it even out. In fact, one of the slides here says that consolidated color temperatures rendering throughout the district, 4,000 K on the interiors, 5,000 K on the exterior lights installed. So you're able to increase that color temperature, the brightness on it, if you want to up the color temperature. When we first looked at the objectives for this district, there was a lot going on. We were taking schools down, and so we had to balance. Should we put in all new fixtures? Should we do a lamp replacement? Is it all about energy conservation? We put all that into the mix, and at the end of the day, we took it upon ourselves in a couple of situations. You have to know the auditorium. What was I in the auditorium?
The library, is it off of the library?
Yeah. And then over at Sierra Vista Library as well. That we went ahead and put in a call for a light replacement. We did a fixture replacement because we looked at it and thought, no, we just can't live with that. So we did some minor upgrades on our own. The lights that you see in here, boy, if you remember where we went from, I hope you like them, I like them, but again, if it gets to where you want to break them up, you can do that. And one of the things that we didn't want to leave undone, and we just came back in a week or two ago, just this last week, and tried to do the touch-ups, because we did what's called a D-lamp. We took a lighting assessment, and we said, no, wait a minute, there's too many lights. We don't need that many lights. We can reduce the cost even more by removing some of the fixtures, but it left holes in the ceilings, and so anyway, came back, passed all that. And on this particular building was probably the hardest thing in the whole district, because we had to go in. I mean, you've got a basement in this place, you got lights in that place, and you got exit signs and things all over that perhaps maybe could have been ignored. Not so. We went ahead and took care of it. So, The lighting fixture, just to give you an idea on the reduction, is about a 73% reduction in energy cost for your lighting. And again, because you had no fluorescent technology, a 73% reduction is a pretty big reduction. So I think you're going to be fine in terms of schools that come down. Again, our objective was to keep that payback so short that the students that are still in those buildings that will be torn down and rebuilt will get good lighting until they are. We're not going to lose any money on it because we had such a short payback. So we're still in the process of filing the rebate application with B&M. I'm still in the process. That's around $60,000. That's going to be a good little check that comes back to the district. But I want to say that the project went pretty smooth. Luckily, no accidents. And I think the students and hopefully the teachers are going to be satisfied with the lighting project. Do you have any questions about the lighting? Any comments or feedback from teachers, students, anybody, anything so far?
I have heard from some students who have said that they definitely noticed a big difference.
Good. Good deal.
They asked you to turn it down. I was like, no, they want to take naps, right? But I think the lighting's
I told you.
excellent.
You would believe how short a time it takes to get used to the lights. Well adjust. Very quick. All right. Anything else? All right. Any update on the solar project?
All right, on the solar project. So I think the last time we presented to the board, was it December that we presented to the board last? So lots of updates, lots of changes since then. You know, as we commence with design, there's a lot of steps that have to happen before installation. Actually, installation is one of the shortest steps and fastest steps. There's a lot of design, a lot of engineering, a lot of structural engineering and analysis that has to go into preparing these plan sets, electrical engineering, planning, utility analysis, permitting, application, lots to happen before the installation happens. So we wanted to provide an update to the board on this because no solar panels are up yet. We want to make sure that everybody knows that this project is still on track, still moving forward. So first we'll talk about the Los Niños array. So Los Niños, we actually reduced the size of the Los Niños array from 293 kilowatts to 255 kilowatts. That happens from initial design to actual engineering. There's HVAC units or pipes or setbacks on the roofs. Sometimes we lose space for panels. That's normal. But one update is we've added a battery system to this project. What that's going to help is in your demand charges. So as we've shrunk that system size down, we've added a battery system, which is going to dramatically reduce demand charges. It's going to be a great economically for the Los Niños building. That project is moving right along on schedule. Right now, it's at the application stage, and I know those are tough to see. But right now, it's at the utility interconnection application. Melissa, right now, she's going to be receiving a cascade of paperwork and documents to sign. And thank you so much for helping us along through that process. But as she signs and executes those documents, they immediately move into permitting, and we begin getting ready for mobilization and installation. So it happens pretty fast after those applications are received. On the next array, Sierra Vista. So originally, I think when we had spoken last, we were going to put Sierra Vista's array also on Los Niños. We've changed. We don't have enough roof space on Los Niños, so we're going to be doing a ground mount location. That's hard to see on that screen, but it's in the bottom right.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. So that's going to be a 100 kilowatt system. Oh, you have a laser pointer? Thank you. What's great about this system is Sierra Vista is also one of those buildings that were scheduled to be taken down or changed into the maintenance facilities here within a few years. Yep. So we're going to be running around that water retention basin for the electrical into the interconnection on the south side of that building. So really minimal amount of asphalt and cement that we have to cut through. Anyways, what this leaves you is optionality. When those buildings change, when that building comes down and the maintenance building goes in, or if the footprint changes, we've actually designed this array. It's only offsetting about 40 or 50% of the load there at Sierra Vista. So it's going to be well designed. We're going to be in a good position. We expected that the next building that goes in there is going to be smaller than Sierra Vista is. So you'll be well positioned for that array. It won't be oversized. All right, next system that we'd like to discuss is the Early Childhood Center. So this is going great. Structural came back fantastic. We have a metal roof over at the Early Childhood Center. So that is going to be getting it's called a standing seam metal roof. The racking system is going to be clamped to the roof. 50 kilowatt system. That one is right on schedule, on track. Applications and permitting are going in right now. The next array is Mike Mateo. Mike Mateo, also a 36 kilowatt system. This one is probably the first one that's going to be installed. So this one, the application has already been sent in. We're waiting on permitting right now. As soon as we get permitting, that one will be ready to be installed. The one that I don't have up here, let's see, is the administration building. The admin building was on our presentation in December. Unfortunately, when we did the load analysis for the roof, we determined that because this would be getting a ballasted system, it kind of has a rounded roof on the top, pretty flat and rounded. It would receive a ballasted system, which means the racking that those solar panels rest in are weighted with cement cinder blocks. They're plastic containers that cement cinder blocks keep those racks or racking systems tied down to the roof. They're non-penetrating and wouldn't be puncturing through the roof, but it was determined that because of that weight load, we wouldn't be structurally sufficient here. So, as you've heard, so we've reduced a few of these sizes, we removed this system, we added a battery system to your other largest system, Margin, and that one is now 178 kilowatts with a 240 kilowatt hour battery. One way to think about that is it's not a backup battery. If power goes down, it's not going to last you 3 days. It's really like a 4-hour battery that will help us through the peak demand times when when the light isn't shining, but you're still running all the AC units and there's still a high load. Maybe you have events going on at the gym. So great economics on that one. That one's in a little bit. That one's in about the same state as Los Niños right now. We're right at the application stage. We expect Mike Mateo to be installed within another month or two, and then Q4 for the remainder of the systems completed by the end of the year. Any questions on the solar project?
Where are the batteries going at Los Niños and Margin?
On Los Niños, there's an electrical room, so they're going to be interior inside of Los Niños. You won't see them because they're going to be in one of the locked panel rooms, electrical panel rooms. At Margin, if you want to scroll back up, you can see Margin there. So on the bottom, the lower left-hand side of Margin, kind of as you're coming up the stairs, let's see, right about a little even, let me see. Okay. So the electrical switch gear is about right there on the outside. There's not enough room for us because there's electrical switch gear and then doors to access the gym. So it's going to be on the south side of that stairwell on the outside of the building.
How big is that storage area to hold it?
They're going to be 4 units that are about 4 racks of batteries. They're about 24 inches wide.
I have a question.
Yes.
So as far as like the battery or the room in the area where it's at, is there, like a requirement for ventilation or anything like that as far as like heat, like is it?
Yes, so fire code, like are you complying with fire code and are these safe to install within the panel? Yes, they all have overheat protection, fire protection. The cabinets, the battery cabinets that are being installed are interior and exterior rated. So it's actually, the ones on the exterior will probably get hotter than the ones on the interior, but they're rated for extreme temperatures. So they'll be good on that.
Thank you.
And so really the biggest update for tonight is we also wanted to propose a change order. And so we've been discussing with Melissa and the team about some of the exterior parking lot lighting. So specifically, just next to the tennis court, on the north side, the main Margin parking lot, and then the alleyway just south of Margin right now. So this wasn't part of our original lighting project, but Melissa brought it to our attention, and we can absolutely do this project. We can take care of that. We had originally anticipated bringing power, trenching and digging and bringing power over, and proposing a system with exterior light poles that will provide additional light for the school. But because of the project that we're conducting right now, an energy conservation project, we wanted to propose exterior solar lighting. So on the next slide, this is an example from Fon Rouge, the company that we use for exterior pole lamps or solar lamps. We proposed to Melissa to install a series of solar lamps on all of those parking lots. 2 lamps in the tennis court. I think there's about 8 lamps. I think 8 lamps in the main parking lot, and another 2 lamps in the alleyway. These solar lamps also have battery packs on them. So, okay, what happens at night if they're solar lamps? They burn at 100% for the first 2 to 3 hours of the night. They meter down to 50% for the rest of the night, and then a couple hours before dawn, they kick back up to 100%. So for most all of the activity that's happening, they're 100%. These lamps are what's nice about this is we also don't have to demolish or trench through the asphalt through the parking lots. There's no conduit to run. We're installing bases and we're installing poles with solar panels and lights on those poles. So if you want to scroll down to that next. This is what they look. This is a single pole lamp head. So some of the lamps would be dual twin pole heads. But this is what we proposed to Melissa. Through the course of our solar project, because we reduced the size of the system somewhat, added batteries, we reduced the solar project size by about $200,000. What we're proposing here is roughly a $200,000 lighting project. And what we're proposing is to, at zero cost, nothing is added to what was previously approved, but what we're requesting is a $0 change order in order to add solar lamps to your parking lot in those areas, provide a safer environment for the students, provide greater access and greater visibility, better aesthetics, and these are great lamps and great panels. And we believe also it kind of runs along with the theme. We're forward thinking, we're trying to conserve energy, we're trying to think ahead. We thought it blended well with the current project.
Brad, can you add a little bit about with the removal of this particular building, how the solar lights help maintain the
So the investment tax credit?
investment? Yes.
Yes. Well, because these are solar lamps, the federal investment tax credit is for solar panels and projects. And so because this is also a $0 change order, we're not adding or subtracting, we're not reducing the size of the Phase 2 solar project. It doesn't jeopardize at all your federal investment tax credit. It doesn't reduce it. If we had reduced the size of the solar project and added this as just plain electrical, trenched and standard electrical lights, it would reduce your federal investment tax credit that you'd receive back, and it would be in addition to the lighting project. But we thought it would be better it would be more attractive to the school to keep the federal investment tax credit where it was, to install solar lamps, and to reduce. It actually gives optionality too. If there's ever any changes, these are a lot easier to move. You're not having to retrench and change where you're running power to. You can just take up those bases. They're going to be about 1.5 or 2 feet under the surface, and trench in a different location just for the bases, not for the. So we thought it would also provide optionality for the school in the future.
There was I believe there's some decorative light poles out there. Are those going to be removed, or are they still there? Are they going to put LEDs in those?
So they're there. They would be removed and replaced with these. And we haven't discussed what the school would like to do with those. Yeah, I think the federal investment tax credit, I think it still stands at, what was it, 1.2? I don't want to misquote it. Yeah, we're right at about 50%. 1.2 on the federal investment tax credit for right now, just to be safe. All right, any other questions? You want to say anything?
I just wanted to tell you from our own peace of mind on this particular change order. We wanted to have peace of mind knowing that it was the right thing to do at the right price. And so we went out and had somebody bid on what it would cost to come in and do trenching for the other lamps. It came in at $300,000. We'll give you a copy of that quote, but wanted to make you feel sure that the $200,000 trade-off on this building versus doing that was well below the lowest bid that we get to do the lighting this particular way. So we're trying to do what's right for you. And like I say, on the lighting project, we couldn't be happier that it turned out the way it did. Because when you get into a lighting project, sometimes there's shorts, there's fixtures that just were hung with waving wire, and there's things that you get into. We know that, but we got a good project. It turned out well. Now, one of the things that we had to do on the lighting was you had lenses that were down everywhere in the school. And we didn't really plan on replacing the lenses, but we did most of them. And what we did is we robbed from the closets to make sure that the classrooms had uniform lenses throughout the district. Again, that wasn't called for in the original project, but we tried to do everything we could to aesthetically make it appealing to the teachers and the students, and make it look like it was a professional lighting project. So we're happy it turned out the way it did. Again, just a quick reminder, we're on a 90-day timeline. So keep your ear to the ground. If there's teachers, students, somebody comes in, they want to raise or lower the temperature, or they have manufactured defects, tell us. We come back in 90 days, and that's why we follow up. Well, companies don't do that. We're coming back in 90 days to make any last minute adjustments or changes to the lighting system.
Mr. President. Madam Superintendent, your recommendation? I know what it is, but let's hear it.
You guys ready, Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair, members of the board, first of all, I want to thank Joe and Brad for all of the work and the team, consulting, and they've done amazing. They work around us, so it's been a pleasure. Thank you. But with that, I do recommend approval of the $0 change order to shift from the original scheme of the project to add the solar lights at Cardinal campus. Yes.
Mr. President, on my recommendation, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the zero change order for the solar power lights, partial lights.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero, do I have a second?
I'll second.
One second by Dr. Blair. I just also want to thank you guys for your partnership and an exciting project for Las Vegas City Schools. So,
Thanks to all of you. We appreciate it very much. And we'll probably, I don't know if you'll be willing to invite us back maybe sometime before the holidays to just give another update, because we should be done with the permitting process. There might be one more update before we actually do the install, but we're going to do this week. So we're happy to come back. Thanks again.
a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion to approve the $0 change order approves. Thank you. Thank you, Serena. Next item on our agenda is under old business, item B, policy advisory 275, teacher residency program, final reading. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm recommending the approval of the teacher residency program, policy advisory number 275, GCIA.
On the recommendation, I'll make a motion that we approve policy advisory 275 GCIA. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Dr. Leah. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion passes. On this next one, item C, policy advisory 276 GICJ, use of cell phone and electronic devices. First reading, Madam Superintendent, we have two options, and so we wanted to make sure that we got your recommendation on which option you would recommend.
So, Mr. Chair, members, I am recommending the approval of the policy 276 JICJ, option 2. Use of cell phones and electronic devices in schools. And again, that is option or alternative option 2.
It's the first reading, correct?
Can you quickly go over the difference between that one and the first one? I'm sorry.
There's only
I'm very lengthy, Mr. Romero, if you have.
Yeah, what's just the biggest difference?
The reason I prefer option 2 is because it, I feel it better encompasses the wireless communication device, so it gives a broader range of, you know, than like our smartphones or the watches, the devices. So I feel with regards to communication out to our community, it's a little clearer for everyone to understand what that will mean.
Thank you. On that recommendation, that explanation, I'm sorry, go
I don't know when I would read. So meta glasses or sunglasses, I think would probably have to be a device that's added to the.
Right, and I believe that's why I like this one because it's a little bit more encompassing than the other one.
Mr. Romero?
So on that recommendation, that explanation, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the first reading for policy 2. Option 2, sorry.
A motion by Mr. Romero, is there a second? A second by Dr. Reserve, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion to approve policy advisory 276 JIC option 2, first reading passes. Next item is under old business, item D, policy advisory 277 JLCEC, cardiac emergency response plan, automated external defibrillators, final reading. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members, I am recommending the final approval of policy advisory 277 JLCEC for cardiac emergency response.
On the recommendation, I'll make a motion that we approve final reading, policy advisory 277 JLCEC. On the second.
second.
Second by Dr. Leah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is item E, policy advisory 278 GLF, reporting child abuse, child protection, final reading. Madam Superintendent, what's your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm recommending final approval for policy advisory 278 JLF, reporting child abuse,
policy number 278 JLF.
I have a motion by Dr. Leo, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion to approve policy advisory 278 JLF is approved. Thank you. Next item of business is a new business, item A, ancillary service contract approval, occupational.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, excuse me, and I will ask Ms. Martinez to come up in the event you have any specific questions. But for this particular contract, and for A, B, and C, items under new business, I do want to indicate that we did go out for RFP, and these individuals that were being presented to this evening were the candidates that were being proposed based off of that review. So I am recommending the approval of the occupational therapy contract for the stepping stones, the 26-27 school year. And I'll defer to Ms. Martinez to talk about that specific dollar amount.
President Gonzalez, members of the board, Superintendent Sandoval. We went out for RFP in July. We met on July 30th as a group of us, and there were a total of 10 respondents for occupational therapy services. And we offered the contract to Stepping Stones. They had proposed an hourly rate of $82 for a total not to exceed for the school year $97,602.96. The occupational therapist, I'll just give you a little bit of insight as to what, confirm that this was a great choice for Las Vegas City Schools and our students. Is this particular occupational therapist is out of Roswell, and as needed will come in and provide in-person services or evaluations. So I thought, wow, that was an amazing opportunity for us, and that fell on our laps. So we also just, for record, we did post an occupational therapy position, speech therapy position, school psychology position, and we had 0 applicants for the occupational therapist and speech therapist. However, school psychologists we did interview, but ultimately didn't pan out. So this was the next best case for us, and took a lot of work, a lot of hours, and so I'm pretty happy we were able to secure, or hope to secure, with, of course, your approval, an occupational therapist for our students.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Lee.
Ms. Martinez, so they're basically all online, unless OT do, if we need something, but otherwise they're online.
Yes, sir.
Do we have staff that is going to sit in there with the kids and make sure they do their?
Great question, and I appreciate the question, and yes, we do. We hired an educational assistant to support the students receiving online virtual therapy, whether that's speech, OT, and sign. This educational assistant will ensure that our students attend the session, will sit alongside them to support the therapist on their side, and whatever the case may be, they are going to be there to support the students and the therapist.
And has this EA been trained at all in any of the therapies?
She is a trained educational assistant, so yes, I have to say yes. Trained as far as certified under OT, speech,
Not like a licensed OT, but has she worked with OTs before, so she knows the direction they're taking them in?
Yes, and I mean, whatever information is lacking, or whatever supports she needs, I'm here, and I will support her as the rest of us.
And the 1 EA will be enough?
The 1 EA will be enough, yes. If not, I will revisit with Ms. Sandoval, because the numbers fluctuate throughout the year, and we can come up with a game plan to make sure our students are serviced.
Mr. Gonzalez, I would like to make a motion to approve the occupational ancillary service contract as presented.
I have a motion by Dr. Lea, I'll second that motion. Is there any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion to approve ancillary service contract for occupational is approved. Next item is item B. Speech language pathologist.
Mr. Chair, but before this was out for RFP, we are recommending approval for speech services to be provided by Sunbelt Staffing for speech language pathology services, not to exceed $107,125.20.
So, recommendation is to approve, so on our recommendation, I'll make a motion that we approve, as item B, ancillary service, speech language pathologist. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second to Dr. Dea. Mr. President, questions? Yes, Mr. Romero.
I know that we went out to RFP, but sometimes I just feel that for these services, sometimes we need to be on top of it a little more and maybe go look for contract companies that can bring a contract person in-house. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about therapies, and I'd rather have in person than online. Thank you.
So, a motion and a second. All in favor to approve speech language pathologist?
Mr. Chair, may I
Yes.
add to this? Mr. Romero, with that sentiment, we agree with you 100%. Unfortunately, not all companies offer in-house support. And as Ms. Martinez mentioned, we do have these positions out for posting as employees. So unfortunately, we don't have that capacity. We will continue to strive for that. But for now, in order to provide our students with the therapies that they need, this is our option. And I feel that these individuals, through their RFP process and the follow-up interviews done by Ms. Martinez, agreed to provide the services that we need.
Ms. Adamo for that clarification. So I do have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is item C, ancillary service contract approval for psychologists. Madam Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm actually requesting ratification for this particular contract. We did have to start services early due to some compliance issues and special circumstance situations that we had to bring our psychologist in a little bit earlier. So I am recommending ratification for school psychologist services for Alliance Health at $113,076.60.
Do I have a motion to approve the ratification of the contract for psychologists? I'm going to make a motion that we approve the ratification for ancillary service contract for psychologists. Do I have a second? A second by Dr. Reserve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is item D, open meetings resolution. Madam Superintendent.
Excuse me, sorry, Ms. Martinez, thank you so much for all your work, Virginia.
Item D, open meeting resolution.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, this is brought to you to put us back on its original cycle of the Open Meetings Act resolution. So I am recommending approval of the resolution to start today, August 20th, 2026. Really, the only thing that has changed, of course, is the start date and the time remains the same at 5:15 p.m.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Romero.
on my recommendation, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Open Meetings Act resolution.
Motion by Mr. Romero, do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Gonzalez. Any other questions?
I apologize, I just have not been able to access the document, it's saying that access is denied. Sorry, second. So,
Your statement is there's a like top of the small screen and then put that in there.
Mine came up once and now it's saying file is owner's trash.
Yeah, take that and then we'll have that in my. that again, but like I said, it's like corrected software.
We should still be in it and then adding a captain. The other solution is posted up on the screen.
It did come on my.
Thank you. I just have a brief comment to review.
So while Dr. Blair reviews this, I think this would be a good time, since we're looking at this Open Meetings Act resolution, if you look at item 3, it does say special meetings may be called by the chairman or majority of members upon 3 days' notice. And that does go with our policy where it does say special board meetings may be called whenever deemed necessary by the board president. So I know we have some concerns with all this about not being notified, but it is policy that board chairman can call a
That's for
special
the
meeting.
majority of the members. Or
No, it's not. That's one of them. You can read board policy.
it's just common courtesy, Mr. President.
The fact of the matter was, Mr. President, that we didn't want a special meeting, or was it just asking us if we could make that day and time? That's all it was. It wasn't that you couldn't call it or we didn't need it. That's all the comments were about.
That's
We're not
right.
asking to have permission, we're just asking for the courtesy of just asking if we are available, just because I'm sure that others were contacted. So that's why
As
I'm
a matter of
asking
fact,
for
we
common
first,
courtesy.
just saying, moving forward, I will do better to communicate, but I just wanted to clarify that it is up to the board chairman may call a special meeting at any time. We have to do it 4 minutes.
No, I haven't been able to review it, thank you.
So I believe Mr. Romero made a motion to approve the open meeting resolution. Did I have a second? Second. Ms. Martinez, have a second?
There was already a motion on the floor.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
So all in favor to pass the open meetings resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes to approve the open meetings resolution. Next item on our agenda is item E, audit committee. I just wanted to inform the board that the audit committee has met twice with our auditors from JAG. So the audit process has begun. There's nothing to report as far as any information being provided to us, but I just wanted to inform the board that the audit has started. Next item on our agenda is item F, the West Las Vegas Head Start MOU. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members, in your packet is the West Las Vegas Head Start Memorandum of Understanding. What is in your packet is the MOU that I have edited from what was provided to me from West Las Vegas. Their recommendation is a 4-year MOU. I am recommending to the board this evening that we continue at this time with a 1-year MOU for the use of the Tony Serna Elementary building, and again to be reviewed at the ensuing school.
Motion to approve.
Sorry, for the Tony Serna or for
Sorry,
SGC?
the ECC. Yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve the West Las Vegas Head Start MOU?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero. Do I have a second? Second by Dr. Reserve. All in favor to approve the, oh, sorry, any other questions? I'm sorry. Councilor Dr. Blair, please go ahead.
Is there a reason why they need to increase it to only 1 year? Or help me understand?
The reason I'm recommending 1 year is because one of the considerations that I would be recommending moving forward is that we have started our own early childhood development program. Right now, we do have a waiting list for students wanting to enter our program. So what I will be doing is asking for a revision of the application to add at least 2 more classrooms. The space, we do not have the space at its current location at Mills Elementary, and our building will better serve the students within our district. So with that, that is my recommendation.
Thank you, myself.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll go and proceed to vote. All in favor to approve the West Las Vegas Head Start MOUs, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item is item G, per capita feeder agreement. Bernard Legit, Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the next 3 items are specifically for feeder routes, and I will ask Ms. Vidasu to come up for any type of specific questions. But what I do want to inform the board is that we are recommending a change for the mileage rate to be in line with the federal mileage rates. They have not been changed for probably 10 plus years. Therefore, I am requesting a mileage rate change on all of these feeder agreements from 35 cents per mile to 70 cents per mile. So with this particular per capita feeder agreement for Ms. Verna Madrid, I am recommending approval for a total annual reimbursement of $1,156.68.
Sis, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Madam Superintendent, members of the board, my recommendation is to approve. I was very pleased when Superintendent upped the rate because I know gas has gotten very, very expensive.
Yes, I'm assuming these are just the people who take from the last bus stop all the way to their homes, yes?
So it may not be the last bus stop. It's where it's sparsely populated. Maybe the roads are inaccessible or not fit for a bus. And
It's the same as previous years, we just.
previous years just upped. Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Ramon.
on that recommendation, I'd like to approve the per capita feeder. Can we do all 3, or do we just do one at a time?
If you want to do it by dollar amount, I would recommend separately.
Okay. And I'll direct to accept to make a motion to do per capita feeder for Ms. Verna Madrid.
I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Arnell, and a second by Dr. Blair. All in favor to approve feeder agreement for Bernard Madrid, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is item H, per capita feeder agreement for Deborah Gage, Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members, I am recommending approval for the feeder route agreement at 70 cents per mile for a total annual reimbursement of $2,099.16 for Miss Deborah Gage.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Ramon.
on my recommendation, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the per capita feeder agreement for Ms. Deborah Gage.
A motion
At
by
the dollar amount set by Madam Superintendent.
A motion by Mr. Arnell, we have a second.
Second.
Second by Dr. Lazare. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes to approve feeder agreement for Ms. Deborah Gage. Thank you. Next item is item I, per capita feeder agreement for Mr. Albert Martinez.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I am recommending approval of this particular feeder route agreement, once again at the mileage rate of 70 cents per for a total annual reimbursement of $1,670.76 for Mr. Albert Martinez.
I'll make a recommendation to approve the Kirk Company Theater agreement for Albert Martinez in the amount presented.
I have a motion by Dr. Bleda. I'll go ahead and second that motion. Mr. Martinez, was there a second? Yes, please, go ahead. Please.
Okay. Due to the cat canyon and the Hermit Peak fire, okay, my daughter was getting picked up at my house. Okay, when the fire happened and the flood happened, Miss Iverson called me and said, "Can we change it and can you bring her down?" She says it's temporary. She says as soon as the road's fixed, they'll go back up. Well, the road was fixed in the middle of last year, and she said you have a contract, so I can't do it this year. And then now at the end of this year, at the beginning of this year, I came and I talked to them, and I said I want them to go back up. For the reason is I can't be going back up and down for $5 or $10 a day. You know, and this route has been there for all my life. I was the only one up there in the 80s that they would pick up. And now they're going to close the whole route. It's 4 miles and the road's fixed. I really feel that they need to just go pick up my daughter.
I believe that's something that Ms. Anderson and Ms. Sandoval will be able to discuss, but at this point,
it's only 4 miles.
Well, at this point, this is the bus routes are in place for this school year. So if there's something to be changed, it's going to have to be something that's discussed in the future. So at this point, I believe all the bus routes are set.
Well, listen, 70 cents a mile, that don't even pay for the gas.
Well, Ms. Sandoval did double it, so I understand the concern, but at this point, this is the direction.
Still don't pay for the gas. It's little, and then another thing is, if I come to work in town, I mean, I have to go home at 3 o'clock. I'm a contractor, so if I come to work in town, I gotta go home at 3 o'clock and be there by 4. And it's only 4 miles. I mean, and that route has been there forever. They're changing the whole route, and that's not what they told me. They said it was temporary. Like when she says, as soon as the roads are fixed, we will go back up for her. And the roads are fixed.
I have already had discussion with Mercedes that we will you. However, and I'm gonna, I just want $174,000. And we want to be cognizant, and support our students and our families. However, at this point in time, because I was not confident about being able to do that, by bringing to you the agreement and, at least to help compensate and offset some of that inconvenience to our families.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
I can't even put a full day of work because, my aunt lives right next door. She can take my daughter at 4 o'clock. I can go home at 5, 6, 7. But now I got to come home at 3. It's a hassle, and that wasn't our agreement in the first place. Our agreement was it was temporary. As soon as the roads are fixed, we'll go back up there.
Well, Ms. Martinez, I know unfortunately we are still facing threats of flood. So at this point, this is the agreement we have in front of us, and so I do have a motion and a second to approve this agreement. So we're going to have to just go and move forward with the arrangement that's in place for now.
Well, can I get some more money?
Do I have no, sir? We just had a discussion. We doubled the money, so this is the best thing we could have done.
Not enough.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. I apologize, but thank you for your time. Motion and a second. All in favor to approve Mr. Martinez's theater agreement, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item.
What do I do?
Next item.
It's not gonna work no more like that. Next year or what?
Those are conversations I believe.
Mr. Martinez, you and I can connect.
I called you like I came, you locked the door on me when I
I
came.
did not lock the door, Mr. Redman, with you, but we can continue to discuss and we can continue to assess your need. We understand.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Next item on our agenda is item G. McComas sells cafeteria equipment for $66,729.82 with Ms. Shane Senna. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'll let Ms. Senna talk a little bit about this, but the reason this is coming to you is for the cafeteria at Robertson High School. The original contract that we had agreed upon earlier, or I guess I would say sometime in the spring, the vendor was unable to follow through in the delivery of the equipment. Therefore, Ms. Senna has reached out to another vendor, and prices are almost identical, but because we are shifting vendors, we are bringing this back to the board. I will recommend approval of the McComas sales cafeteria equipment quote at the dollar amount of $66,729.82.
On that recommendation, do we have a motion to approve the sales cafeteria equipment for the $66,729.82?
Question, for clarification from Superintendent Sample, and Ms. Senna, I just want to clarify, this was funded for a grant, is that correct? Okay, thank you. On that, I will make a recommendation to approve McComas sales cafeteria equipment for $66,729.82.
A motion by Dr. Blair, do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Dr. Meserve. All in favor, say aye. Sorry, yes, Mr. Romero.
What was the difference in the prices?
So,
Is this really less or more?
this one's less, but we took out the walk-in. The walk-in is a little separate. We contracted with like a different walk-in unit because it's a custom unit. This one was just a slot, being that Robertson Cafeteria is like an older build, it was more of a custom job, so we had to go with it's still McComas, but it was a job prior to this situation happening. So
we'll still get a walk-in
yes.
later? Or is the walk-in included on this or what?
No, the walk-in's not included, the walk-in's separate.
I had already approved that because it was below the $60,000 threshold, but now we're having to add these other units.
So the difference between this code and that code, the other one was like 89,000 something, this one was 66.
Any other questions from Ms. Sandoval on this? Hearing none, we do have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion to approve McComas sales cafeteria equipment in the amount of $66,729.82 passes. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is item K. Magnum Welding and Construction Iron Fence and Gate, Cardinal Stadium, in the amount of $167,554.28. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'd like to call Mr. Agenda up. First, I would like to apologize and inform the board that at the last special board meeting, we had a discussion of this particular item, but I failed to attach the quotes. There were two quotes for this. One was specific for the paving, and then one was for the fence and gates. The file was in the packet, but we didn't link it. And what you approved was the paving in front of the Sturgeon at the talk to this a little bit, was in front of the right in front of Cardinal Alley, as they explained. And that was for $70,000+, which is also in your packet tonight. But what I am asking for is the approval for the actual fence and access control gates of $167,554.28.
Joe, do you have anything to add?
No, she's already covered. If you guys have any questions, report was out. It's going to just be
the north and the west, all the way up to the bleachers, the new gates, automated gates. There's the 3rd Street gate also. It's gonna, they're having bus access through, so there'll be automated gates through there.
And that is fencing also underneath the bleachers.
Yes,
Also,
it's a 3-foot chain with privacy stats, so trash and people stay out from under the bleachers.
So, Superintendent, recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members, I'm recommending approval of the Magnum Welding and Construction Iron Fencing Gates at Cardinal Stadium at $167,554.28.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
upon that recommendation, I make a motion that we approve the Magnum Welding for the Cardinal fence and gates, Cardinal Stadium, at the amount stated.
I'll go ahead and second that motion. Do you have any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor to approve the Magnum Welding Construction Iron Fence and Gate at Cardinal Stadium in the amount of $167,554.28, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is item L, Magnum Welding Construction Security Fence at Mike Mateos Elementary in the amount of $383,220.26. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members, this item was also discussed at the last meeting. However, once again, I did not put a correct dollar amount. I was missing the tax, so this one was now the corrected dollar amount to include the, of course, the work and the taxes. So I am recommending approval of the security fence at Mike Mateo.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for Magnum Welding for the security fence at Mike Mateo.
A motion by Dr. Blea. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Reserve. Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Romano.
I can't remember, Mr. President, is that gonna be all chain link, or is it gonna be wrought iron and then chain link?
It's going to be partial. It's going to be partial. About, I would say about 500 feet from the gate, from the roadway, county roadway down, and then off to the left, almost to the transfer station. And then it'll continue changing to the transfer station. We'll close up the gates there. We'll get an automated gate up on top.
Up on top?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I can remember what it was.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor to approve the Magnum Welding and Construction Security Fence at Mike Mateo Sena Elementary in the amount of $383,220.26, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item is item M, J3 Systems Proposal Robertson High School A+ Grill Roof Repair in the amount of $37,283.02. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, this project, as well as item N, will be projects that will be covered through NIPSIA. This is the emergency funding through, or I wouldn't say emergency funding, the, what would we call it there, Mrs. Gonzalez, the insurance claim. With the A+ Grill, there was identified roof leaks, so this is, again, like the career building, it will be the coating that will be placed on there. So I am recommending approval for J3 Systems to do roof repair at A+ Grill for $37,283.02.
I'll make a motion to approve the J3 Systems proposal for the roof repair of the A+ Grill at the amount presented.
A motion by Dr. Blair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gonzalez. Any other questions?
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr.
Research again, for many years now, was this roof already repaired once? I know we have some roofs in addition to that hail damage.
Yes.
And Mr. Reserve got all the insurance coverage to cover all those roofs.
Yes, we did repair it, but it was I can't say it's really a temporary, but right where the joint connects to the other wall of the farthing up to the A+ grill. It's been deteriorated. And we're getting water between the walls to the A+ grill. Damage. Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor to approve the J3 Systems for the A+ roof repair in the amount of $37,283.02, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item is item N, J3 Systems proposal for Las Vegas Public Schools Admin Building in the amount of $67,025.52. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of item N, J3 Systems, for roof repair at the admin building at $67,025.52.
This is also insurance.
Also an insurance claim.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
on that recommendation, I can make a motion that we approve the admin building roof.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Meserve. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Bennett.
And for clarification, this is just the roof repair, right? They're not redoing it, they're not just putting the coating.
They are putting a coating.
Yes, it's gonna be a coating with the connection joints of the parapets of this building become deteriorated, and also where there's space or water is getting in and causing damage to offices. Any other questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
how are they gonna fix that? How are they gonna?
With the coating will be a I would say a polyethylene sealant. They'll do the whole roof in case if there's any cosmetic damages up there causing.
So do they put down anything in the gap first before they
Yes.
all everything? Okay.
They'll patch it, they'll patch it all together, and they'll coat the whole roof again.
Does it come up over the edge, you know?
Yes, it'll go up the parapets and everything, get rid of the building.
They weren't gonna do this whole downstairs after all, right? Yeah, because of the wind.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to approve the J3 Systems proposal for the admin building in the amount of $67,025.52. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Next item is item O, IRS notice of civil penalties from
Chair members, this item is for informational purposes. On August 6th, I believe, Ms. Gonzalez and our offices received a notice that there were some penalties with regards to 2023 IRS issues. 3 days later, 2 or 3 days later, we received a second notice with some additional information, basically doubling that dollar amount. What we have done at this point in time is that we have connected with Jaramillo County. We will be signing power of attorney for their organization so they can have an IRS expert, if you will, I'm not sure what their formal title is, to speak on behalf of the district to review the areas of penalty, if you will, what all of those items are. We do have somewhat of a generic idea that was listed on the paperwork that you have attached. The intention behind the work would be to obtain an abatement so we do not have to pay for these penalties. However, again, we do not know what the extent of this may be. We do know for sure that the interest on these will have to be paid. But again, it's one of those things that we kind of take a few steps forward and slide back a little bit with regards to some of the deficiencies that we have to address. So at this point in time, again, this is informational. We will keep you abreast of this. They are telling us it's maybe 3 to 4 weeks out before they themselves have access, because as a district, we do not have direct connection as these IRS individuals through JAG can speak to. So information. In this process, I did reach out to Stiefel with regards to the bonds. There is some concern with regards to the impact that this may have on our bond rates and on the sale of our bonds. So we are keeping them abreast also of what this may look like. But again, it's informational, and there are several penalties that are in the year 2023.
Questions for this work? Next item on our agenda is item P, assistance requested to PSLC, so it's moved to correct work project, S18-033, an amount of $1,160,720.
Mr. Chair, I also ask Mr. Jeff to come up and assist me with this one. As you all know, in the year 2018, Los Niños, was it 2018, 2017? Los Niños went through a major remodel. It's somewhat similar to item O. There were some deficiencies that were not addressed or not addressed accordingly. So we have continued to have issues that need to be repaired. So I have been working closely over the last, I guess would be 26 months or so with PSFA to try to find a remedy and to get some work. I am happy to say that it did pass the subcommittee, so they have approved the $1 million+ project for work on those deficiencies, but I will have to go to PSFA one more time next Wednesday for request of final approval. But this work, you guys have heard over the last couple of years, the backup to the sewer system, the parking lot, I think probably the biggest one is HVAC or lack of HVAC controls. So that this is to address all of those issues, but I'll defer to Mr. Jeanette for some details.
So we are trying to correct the drainage issues, because the amount of water that comes down Legion and out of housing and all, it overruns those, and it actually goes into the building. So we're trying to correct that drainage problem. That one, the sewer backup, the first time when we encountered it, we found a brass cap that was lost during construction, which caused obstruction through the new system, which we never had problems before that. As far as the HVAC, parking lot, splitting causing potholes and major cracks throughout. It's also caused a little bit of heating on sidewalks, which that part got a little bit corrected. The parking lot is still splitting pretty drastically. The HVAC is just classrooms, like on the north, I guess it would be the northwest side. It really doesn't get heat or cooling. We just have problems over there. Just no control. They installed the server for us, where I can see the building, I can see the temperature, but nothing can be manipulated to correct the temperatures. So we have to call in, maybe get an answer. Other than that, I think these things should be corrected. As it is a new building,
Weren't we holding the contractors responsible for all these issues? At least the HVAC and the sewer?
I would say, yeah, they should hold. They should hold.
I mean, I know they came back several times and
they did try and correct some of the issues with the HVAC systems, where it it was just installed wrong, where it was causing the system to go off completely, and set off temperature switches and limit switches. So they corrected those parts, but it's still no control on the district's part. IT would probably be the one that would have a lot to do with that system.
Any other questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Dr. Reserve.
I just like to make a comment that it appears that these problems have been in place for almost 10 years. I mean, we're coming upon, what, 9 years now? It says 2017 to 2018 that this stuff has been going on. 10 years or 9 years, anywhere from 8 to 10 years, whatever, of our kids going through not having the proper facilities to be able to be conducive to them learning is a little too long.
Yes.
So I think that this here shouldn't have even waited till now. It should have been presented to the boards way past us, before us, to get these things corrected. If people weren't being held accountable, we should have been on them to get sure that these were corrected. But 8 years of our students going through this is not appropriate.
I agree on that part. I would call some contractors back all the time, ask them to come in and camera the lines, where they would find that they didn't think anything was wrong. But I think there's some sagging in the sewer lines themselves, and as far as the heating, getting a hold of that contractor is something else. Because they changed so many names to the company, so it switched leadership to those many times too.
But if there was a contract and they were supposed to fulfill that contract, they were in violation of that contract. And we should have been holding them accountable. And like I said, 8 years of the kids suffering through all of this is inadequate. It's irresponsible of the boards to have done this, to allow this to keep happening.
And I believe that's why we weren't paying them at the time. We stopped paying them because they haven't come out to correct the problems.
Yes.
So with that, with regards to dollar amounts, they did attach the letter that I submitted to PSCOC. And just for your information, our local match will be $450,000 for this remedy. So it will be out of GO bonds once we get them. But we'll get, I anticipate we will get everything, but my own will be next Wednesday.
Great. Any other questions? Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Thank you, sir. Next item is item Q, or capital outlay report. Dr. Hill, I believe, or Madam Superintendent.
I'm happy to provide the report, but Superintendent Sandoval did prepare this report.
Thank you.
Well, you have the items listed on the report. I don't know every single one of them. But we did have Dr. Blake, Dr. our meeting, as well as the projects. I will say that everything that we have been working on is underway. Probably something that you will see in the very near future. Cardinal Stadium is in progress and it is on schedule. They will be, or at least my understanding as of today, they will likely be start putting the turf tomorrow. So that should be done at the timeline that was given. The technology, which has been a big project over the last 2.5 years or so, has been access control. The security gates actually working and locking and so on. So if you read Mr. Salas's report, there is some lag there due to communications between the systems. We still have work to do. You guys have been over the last few months improving a lot of projects and a lot of funding to go along with that. So we have a ways to go. We are moving forward slowly but surely.
If I can just also add, I appreciated the report also regarding the system and the testing and the efforts on the part of the staff to ensure that there is appropriate fire alarm systems in place as well as fire drills being conducted.
And if I may, actually, you triggered a good point. I forgot to mention that we did get formal and final approval on the fire panel system. It did pass, so we are good to go with that. So that was another lengthy project that was almost 2 years beyond its time. So anyway.
Mr. President, Madam Superintendent, what's the new timeline in the field?
When we initially contracted, and when they presented, we had talked about, I believe this week, August 17th, prior to the game. When I did a final contract with them, and that was the owner contractor agreement, I did give them until August 31st to ensure that we had everything completely done with regards to the field. What I have done is to ensure that we can get our football team and our soccer teams playing on the field. Final work to the track field will be done in the spring, and that was in review with all of the work. We wanted to make sure that our fall sports will be able to play on that, but everything is on timeline.
So are there any penalties because they didn't make the first deadline?
They're still on timeline, so the first deadline is August 31st.
The first one was August 18th, right? Is that what you told us at the meeting?
No, as I mentioned, that was the original conversation that we had, but when I contracted with them, my final agreement with the owner contractor agreement was August 31st. So they are still on timeline.
Did we see that contract?
Can we get a copy of the contract and the purchase orders so that we can see because we did review the first initial contract or the scope of work, but we never saw the second one, so we'd like to see the second one.
The owner contractor. I don't know if we presented it at the meeting. I did discuss it because I did mention to you that we had our attorneys review it, and PSFA actually provided us that. I'm happy to submit it to you.
And then on the track, if we're not going to start working until the spring, where's our track teams going to practice?
It'll be done prior to their practices.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. The next item is our superintendent report.
Superintendent report. I feel like the bulk of my superintendent report was capital projects, so now it's a little shorter. There was a request, or there have been a few requests with regards to what should be on there, or what you guys were asking to see. Again, I am happy to report that we have seen an increase in enrollment as of Thursday when I put this report together. We had a total of 1,142 students. And that was inclusive of our pre-K kids. However, I will say that we will anticipate a reduction, maybe to some of those numbers with our 10-day drops, and or remain steady with any new enrollments. Ms. Garcia continues to review packets and is approving and accepting students if they meet the criteria that we need. And the Power School report, I believe, is attached in this entire packet here. We have probably one of the big items that I wanted to share with you is item number 6. Once again, I'm pleased to report, and we did mention this at orientation, and I do want to thank all of you for joining us on those days. But we will be receiving an additional $181,395.20 to support staff training and leadership work with regards to innovative staffing. This will support the district. This is year 1 funding. We will be receiving year 2 funding. But this is it's work to support fluctuating enrollment. It's work to support mentorship and coaching with our master teachers within the district. So we were looking at internal grow your own program, if you will, that's outside of school leadership. So it's really empowering our school staff. And a lot of this money is to support that work through stipends, as well as instructional coaches and so on. So that's huge for us, and this will be 2-year funding. And then we are filling up our positions. We do have funding to support an overload position at the elementary if needed. We have hired, or will be making an offer to a new CTE teacher at the high school to support some additional elective classes. The thing is that a lot of the enrollment increases have been at the middle grade levels, 6th through 10th grade is where we've seen the bulk of our increase. So we have to adjust for some classes. What I do want to highlight or bring to attention is item 3. And item 3, Ms. Martinez Gonzalez has been requesting a financial report with regards to the items being sold in the concession stand. I do want to indicate that this was provided in the May finance meeting. So page 15 of the document does show the number of concession stand item hot dogs, bags of chips, sodas, and so on that were sold. So that was in the May report, and that was in the board packet at that point in time. And then for public comment that was brought up last meeting by Mr. Romero with regards to the expiration of funds and being unaware that only a handful of individuals or board members were informed. I do want to draw attention to my September 2025 board report, and where I did address the request for extension of the $1.8 million bond extension because we had not drawn those funds down. So, all of that to say is that, I do try to keep abreast of all of the information and sharing that with the board as often as I am able and I can. And again, these are specific reports that will indicate that I am being transparent.
Any questions? Next item on the agenda is executive session. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
I'll make a motion to enter into executive session. The Board of Education will convene in closed session pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-52-1, H8, discussion regarding possible disposition of real property by the district, Legion Park Elementary School.
A motion by Dr. Blair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Romero. We are now into votes. Roll call, please.
Board Member Dennis Romero?
Yes.
Board Member Mrs. Elaine Martinez Gonzalez?
Yes.
Board Secretary Dr. Joyce Meserve?
Yes.
Board Vice President Dr. Kimberly Williams?
Yes.
Board President Paul Gonzalez?
Yes. We are now in executive session. The time is 7:24. session.
I'll make a motion to enter into open session.
Do you have a second? Second by Mr. Romero. Roll call, please.
Board Member Dennis Romero.
Yes.
Board Member Mrs. Elaine Martinez Gonzalez.
Yes.
Board Secretary Dr. Joyce Meserve.
Yes.
Board Vice President Dr. Kimberly Blair. Yes. Board President Paul Gonzalez.
Yes. The Board of Education will convene an open session pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 1051, discussion regarding possible disposition of real property by the district, region, elementary. No action was taken. We are now in open session. The time is 7:50. Next item on our agenda is discussion action on possible executive session topics. Item A, no action is needed, and item B, no action is needed. So our next item on our agenda is future planning, regular board meeting, September 17, 2026. That be fine with everybody? If not, as you review your calendars, please let the superintendent know. And our next item is item B, NMSBA Region 3. Las Vegas City Schools will be hosting our Region 3 meeting October 5th, 2026. Madam Superintendent, do you have anything to add?
We are in the planning stages. It will be at margin. I believe that's where it's always been held, so we'll continue to plan for that and give you the details as we move. Yeah, we're set and ready to go. We're planning and buying.
There's no other questions. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Romero. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Dr. Player. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say no. We are now adjourned at 7:51. Mr. Romero, may I please have a word?